Hey yo, hey everyone, Andrew here, bringing you another video review, and today we're going to be doing Teen Titans, Life and Death. Take a look at this cover right here. Now, Life and Death is one of the multiple Infinite Crisis crossovers, so you're going to have a lot of stories in this that actually deal with the Infinite Crisis. The first story starts off with Jason Todd going to the Titans Tower and putting on his old uniform that apparently has yellow leggings now. Now, this is kind of reminiscent of the Red Robin costume from way back in the day, but don't worry about that. Jason Todd picks a fight with Tim Drake to see if he's as good as everyone says. Now, this is a great way to start off a story, a kick-ass fight between good Robin and bad Robin. And you just gotta love Tim Drake through in the whole entire fight, because he's holding his own against Jason Todd, and he's just not giving up. And in the end, Jason beats the living shit out of Tim, and he realizes, yes, Tim Drake is as good as everyone says, and he's actually better than I was as Robin. So, Jason Todd kind of bugs off and cries about how nobody wants him back, and how nobody cared that he died, and why isn't there a memorial in Titan Tower for me? Oh, boo-hoo, get over it. Actually, to be fair, this is an interesting complex with Jason Todd, because he cries about how much people don't care that he died, but if anything, that's all that Tim Drake has heard his whole entire Robin career, is Jason Todd, Jason Todd, Jason Todd. Anyways, after Robin gets his ass handed to him, he needs to recover. And the rest of the Titans, minus Superboy because he's on hiatus, have to deal with Brother Blood. Now see, Brother Blood is a bitch. Now I said before that I never cared about this new Brother Blood, and I actually like the previous Brother Blood during the new Teen Titans better than this one. Brother Blood has been resurrecting old Titan members. Now, he hasn't been using their souls, just more or less their bodies, and he created the Undead Titan West. So it's Teen Titans versus Teen Titans, in an ultimate showdown to take out Brother Blood. Eventually, Brother Blood is dealt with, and this is probably the only high point of the story, because, see, I don't like Brother Blood. I really didn't care for this aspect of the story. I could look past me not liking Brother Blood if the story was good. The only thing that's good out of the story is the fact that, well, Brother Blood gets taken care of with once and for all. So, Brother Blood is off the scene, and then we move on to our next story, which is the Superboy story. Superboy meets up with Superboy Prime and have their big freaking showdown that they had during the Infinite Crisis, which leaves Superboy incredibly badly injured, and having the Titans have to go out and look for an antidote. They go to one of Lex Luthor's old labs to find that there is an antidote there, and they grab a bunch of different vials, sticking in their pockets, in their sleeves, and in their boots. Okay. Anyways, so they're able to barely escape from this place with one vial to save Superboy's life. Now, this story was utterly useless, and they spent so much time with them looking for vials to save Superboy that was like 20 pages that they could have done in like 5 or 10. But anyways, Superboy is recovering, and all the Titans go to Bloodhaven to deal with the aftermath of Chemico, while Wonder Girl stays with Superboy and has sex. Okay, anyways, Superboy decides that it's probably best for him to go out and try to deal with what's going on during the crisis. At the same time, Wonder Girl is losing her powers. However, Aries shows up as he's been for the last, well, couple months leading up to this title, offering to help out Wonder Girl. Now, see, it's kind of interesting because Aries is always a complex character. He's sometimes good, he's sometimes evil. In the previous Wonder Woman titles, Land of the Dead, Missions to End, and along with some of the Teen Titans titles, Wonder Girl has been more or less in talkings with Aries. And Aries eventually comes to the point where he says to Wonder Girl, Zeus is buggering off. All the gods are leaving this dimension. I'm going to have to also. Zeus is a little prick, and he's taking his powers with him. All his powers, even the powers he gave you. However, I'm willing to give you my powers, as long as you can accept me as your brother. So Wonder Girl says, okay, easy deal, and she gets the powers of Aries, which basically are all the same powers she had beforehand, only more powerful. Wonder Girl goes out to join up with the rest of the Titans. Really, we don't know where Wonder Girl goes. Eventually, she meets up with Superboy, seeing Superboy is dead now. Yeah, Superboy meets up with Nightwing, and they kind of travel along, and it leads up to one of the final chapters of the Infinite Crisis. I'm not ruining anything here. If you read the Infinite Crisis, you know that Superboy died. And this is a pretty heartfelt tragic death in the DC universe that I think hits a lot of fans right here in their heart. Well, actually more right here. So Superboy dies, and that's the end of the story. So on to the good, the bad, and whether or not you should get it. Good. The story starts off pretty solid with Jason Todd versus Tim Drake in a nice fight throwdown. And again, you gotta love Jason Todd and you gotta love Tim Drake throughout this fight, because they're both giving it all and they're both realizing something while they're fighting, which is a nice point in this book. Superboy and Cassandra Sandmark's relationship also expands in this book. While I'm still kind of weary about them having sex, that's a little awkward, especially for teenagers, the fact that you really see how much they care about each other and how upsetting it is when he actually dies for her. In addition to that, Aries and Wonder Girl's relationship, I guess, comes full circle here when he gives her his powers. In addition to that, the Nightwing story with Superboy is actually kind of entertaining and fun to read, and the last chapter takes right from the Infinite Crisis itself. Downside: seeing that this happens during the Infinite Crisis, there's going to be a lot of cluttering and stories in here that aren't really necessary. The Brother Blood story wasn't really necessary. It was okay, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't necessary. And the story where they go looking for the healing solution to save Superboy really was too long and dragged out. Really, the art was bad and it just wasn't a good story. So those two stories weren't necessary. And like I said, it takes place during the Infinite Crisis, so a lot of it's going to be doubled up, and the comic itself is going to be a mess. So, on a whole, if this comic was a little bit better organized and you actually removed the two stories that I said weren't necessary and put in more Superboy-oriented stories, this would have been a better comic. While I enjoyed it, and while I do not regret buying it, I do not recommend it to people, because it's not necessary. See, the only thing you need to know from this is Superboy died, and you can get that from the Infinite Crisis. This is very much a story that you can avoid. Now, like I said, I did enjoy points from the story. However, you don't need to read it. Again, all you need to know is Jason Todd shows up and finds Tim Drake, which isn't really a big deal. Superboy and Wonder Girl have sex, and Superboy dies. Again, all of this you can basically learn from Infinite Crisis or other stories. So, on a whole, life and death. It was a nice try, good shot, actually some good points in the story. It's really up to you. If you want another Titan story, then go right ahead. You probably won't be that disappointed. It does have some good points to it. However, it is not necessary, and in the time that we live in now, money is always a factor, so if you don't want to waste your money on stories that you don't necessarily need, I recommend skipping this and going to Titans Around the World, which is the one later story for the Teen Titans. So with that said, I'm going to end this review here. Titans, Life and Death. Just like the title, it's either good or bad, life or death. So with that said, I'm going to end this review here. This is Andrew saying peace out for now.